All right, welcome back to WMAC Now with your host Chuck Stevenson, coming at you with some big fight announcements. So yesterday at One Championship Revolution, One announced the results of the fan voting for the Women's Atomweight World Grand Prix Semifinals. Now these are going to take place in Singapore on October 29th at One NextGen. And the matchups are going to be Seo Hee Ham taking on Stamp Fairtex and Itsuki Hirata taking on Ritu Phogat. Now, I showed the results of the voting as well, and this combination got a very strong majority at 41.18% compared to the next two possibilities. Hirata versus Ham and Stamp versus Phogat got 29.4%, and Hirata versus Stamp and Phogat versus Ham got 28.8%. So the matchups as they were announced were by far the most popular. I mean, that's a pretty wide majority there at 41%. Now, as I said, these are going to take place at One NextGen in Singapore on October 29th. Let's go ahead and take a look at the matchups. First up, we have Ham versus Stamp Fairtex. So Seo Hee Ham comes in with a record of 24-8. To Stamp Fairtex is 6-1. So, as per usual, Ham has a very sizable experience advantage here. Now, Ham is coming off a split decision win over Denice Zamboanga at One Empower, and Fairtex is coming in off of a split decision win over Aliana Rasahina at the same event, avenging her loss to Rasahina earlier this year. Now, Stamp has youth on her side. She's 23 years old to Ham's 34. Ham is the oldest in this tournament by far. They stand the same height, 5 feet 2 inches, 158 centimeters. Looks like Stamp has a slight reach advantage here at 161 centimeters to 157 centimeters for Ham. So here you have a battle of two strikers going down. And this one should be very exciting. You got kickboxer in Ham and the Muay Thai fighter in Stamp. You know, at first glance you think, well, Stamp definitely has, more tools available to her with the Muay Thai compared to Ham's kickboxing. But you got to remember, Ham has a lot more experience coming in here. Granted, Stamp has fought Muay Thai since she was a little kid. But Ham has been fighting professionally for a lot of years now. I mean, over 15 years. So Ham brings in a lot of experience and has fought in different styles too. She's fought MMA, she's fought kickboxing, she's fought in shoot boxing. So Stamp might have more tools, but Ham brings in a wide dearth of experience here. The X factor here is going to be on the ground. And honestly, both of these fighters have very underrated ground games. Stamp has come a long way in a very short amount of time as far as her ground game goes. Because she only got into MMA within the last 2 years, really. I mean, she joined One, 3 years ago, tops? And started MMA training then when she joined the Fairtex gym. And she's come a long way since then. She's got good submission defense. She's starting to work on the submissions herself. Her ground game has come a long way. And Ham herself, her ground game has always gone very underrated. She, almost submitted Aka Hamasaki with a triangle choke. And her defensive ground game has always been very top-notch. So the X factor here is going to be the ground game, and that's if this fight even goes to the ground. I expect it's mostly going to stay on the feet, and it should be fireworks. I mean, absolute fireworks on the feet between these two. Then on the other side of the bracket, you have Itsuki Hirata taking on Ritu Phogat. Now, Hirata is 5-0. She's undefeated. Phogat is 6-1, so Hirata's the only undefeated fighter here. Now, she is coming off a unanimous decision win over Elise Anderson at One Empower, and Ritu is coming off a unanimous decision win over Mongbo at the same event. Hirata's the younger fighter in this matchup, 22 to Ritu's 27. Itsuki is slightly taller as well, 5 feet 2 inches, 157 centimeters to Ritu's 5 feet 1 inch, 156 centimeters. And that extends to the reach advantage as well, 159 centimeters for Itsuki to 157 centimeters for Ritu. So while the first semifinal matchup is a battle of strikers, this is a battle of grapplers. Now what worries me here with this fight is that when you get two high-level grapplers against each other, there's always the worry that this is going to turn into a very boring and absolutely terrible kickboxing match. And we've seen it time and time again in MMA. Personally, I don't think that's going to be a problem here. Neither of these two fighters prefer to stand and trade, even if they're against other fighters who are good on the ground. So I don't think that's going to be a worry here. I think we're actually going to get, the ground battle that we want to see. The big question is, who is going to be able to dictate terms in this fight? Because both are forward movers, both like to get the takedown and be on top. So that means the big question is, who is going to get the takedown that they prefer? Who is going to be on top? It's a very good question because these are two very different styles of grappling here. Itsuki is a judoka who prefers throws and trips in that order, whereas Ritu is a more classic wrestler. She prefers to go for double leg and single leg takedowns. Now, Ritu tends to get her takedowns out further away from the cage, whereas Itsuki likes to drive to the cage for the clinch to get her takedowns. So if Ritu shoots first, we could very well see her get the takedown. But if not, we could see Itsuki drive her to the cage to work for her takedowns. Now, I will say that as far as their ground games go, I would say that Ritu is slightly more well-rounded than Itsuki. Now, we haven't seen Ritu go for submissions of any type yet, but we have seen her in some decent scrambles on the ground, and we have seen her throw a lot more variety of ground and pound than we've seen from Itsuki. From Itsuki, she basically goes for the same thing every time. She goes for the throw to the scarf hold, and then goes for scarf hold submissions or ground and pound from the scarf hold position. So you can pretty much expect Itsuki to go for the same thing every time, no matter what. The big question is going to be, can she do that against Ritu? Or is Ritu going to be able to take her down and just start throwing some ground and pound? And then we have to ask, what do either of these fighters look like when on their back? Because we haven't really seen either of them on their back. So definitely leaves a lot of questions about their ground game. Either way, should make for another fun, exciting matchup in the semifinals. Now, not announced for this event, but most likely also going to take place at the same event, and previously announced by one CEO, Chatri Sityodtong, is going to be another alternate bout for the Grand Prix. This one's going to be between former quarterfinalist Denice Zamboanga and Julie Mezabarba. Now, Zamboanga comes in at 8-1. Mezabarba comes in at 9-2-1. Zamboanga, of course, coming off of the contentious split decision loss to Seo Hee Ham in the quarterfinals at 1 Empower, whereas Mezabarba is coming in off of a dominant unanimous decision win over Mei Yamaguchi at the same event. Now, Zamboanga is the younger fighter here, 24-28 for Mezabarba. Mezabarba slightly taller, 5 feet 3 inches, 160 centimeters to 5 feet 2 inches, 158 centimeters. Slight reach advantage to Mezabarba as well, 164 centimeters to 163 centimeters for Zamboanga. This fight is still a bit of a mystery to me. I mean, all we've really seen from Mezabarba so far is her striking, and she just absolutely outworked Mei Yamaguchi on the feet. Very easily, I might add, too. Just able to keep her distance, use her jab. Mezabarba has a really, really nice jab. Zamboanga, I suspect, is going to want to take this fight to the ground. Going to be a big question if she can or not. Mei Yamaguchi tried to and was unable to do so. So there you have it, the semifinals for the one Atomweight World Grand Prix. As I said before, these are going to go down on October 29th at One Championship, NextGen in Singapore. Let me know your thoughts on these fights in the comments down below. If you liked the video, please give it a like, share it as well, help spread the word. And while you're at it, go ahead and subscribe to WMMAC Now, the most complete women's mixed martial arts dedicated platform on YouTube. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.